Yay, 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 yay.
Hi, kids.
All right. Yeah, how are you, brother? There we go. Now we got. Now we're live. Yeah, it kind of helps if you actually hit the button. Yeah.
Yes, it
You
do it.
I push buttons all day at work. I should fucking know these things.
Goddamn professional.
There we go. Now I can see what's going on. And there's Shane. Hi, Shane.
Shane. Yeah, I love the fact that Shane enjoys coming into these.
It just reminds me of the motion picture. Shane, come back, Shane.
Every time I see his name, I think to myself, "Come back, Shane."
Yeah, let's see.
And I've never even seen the fucking movie. It's one of my son's mom's favorite movies. And
yeah,
she used to have.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab another beer.
All right. She used to have a frisbee that she named Shane. So when she took it to the beach, she threw it.
That was such a good interview.
So if somebody found her wayward frisbee, it said "Send Shane back." I just thought that was funny as shit. But I have seen the end of the movie. I've not seen it from beginning to end. But
okay.
I have seen the scene with the little kid crying his eyes out. "Come back, Shane."
Do you remember the Batman television series?
Yeah, the real campy stuff from the 70s.
Yeah, where they actually did a takeoff on that. There was one of the villains by the name of Shame.
Oh, really?
And you had the kid with Shame, and it turned out that the Shame villain had taken the kid's transistor radio. That's why the kid wanted him to come back or show up or whatever the hell it was.
Yes, the old transistor radio. I can remember it must have been my brother and I's birthdays in '76 because we each got General Electric. My dad worked at GE. Transistor radios with strap. Mine was red with blue stars on it. My brother's was blue with red stars on it. So I'm assuming that it was '76 because everything was red, white, and blue had fucking stars on it in 1970.
Yeah. Oh man, I am.
That was the first time I'd ever seen a firework where it.
Fuck.
What the hell's going on over there, Neil?
Or pull the button.
Just sit my fat ass down again. All right, there we go.
Oh, you mean you missed all that?
What do you mean? What did I miss?
Oh, nothing. I didn't say anything.
Artie, I'm not going to give you any shit at all when you light up. Even though it does tempt the hell out of me. I'm just kidding.
I got to be careful. I've only got 6 left, so.
Okay, people, if you want to come into the chat, let me know in there, and I'll send it to you on Twitter. Sorry, Diana, go ahead.
Oh, no problem. Artie, did you know that I quit?
I hadn't seen you smoke, so no.
In a couple hours, it'll be a week.
It has been.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's amazing, man. I mean, I've gone now. I think I've quit twice or 3 times now, and I went about a year each time, and something really shitty happens, and then I fall back on it like an old friend, that wants to hug you. You know what I mean?
So hard
yeah. Well, with me,
drive past a fucking gas station and not stop.
With me, I can actually feel the muscles in my arm start to move the arm to pick up the pipe, which is already going, and just bring it up and then puff on it. And it's the way I'm doing it is I'm already in the process of smoking. It's not picking it up and starting it or anything like that. I'm learning a lot about habitual behaviors. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would call this a craving because I'm not going, oh, I'm jonesing. No, it's more like just starting to reach for it and reminding myself, hey, shithead, you quit.
Yeah.
Now, there have been a couple times where I have done something that I would call craving, and it's like, hey, shithead, you quit, you know. So we'll see how we can do with this. Is why I was telling you, Neil, in the green room.
Mhm.
I also joined a gym, and I figured that smoking while going to the gym, you know, those didn't quite go together. So if I was going to
Yeah,
keep
no.
up the gym, which I wanted to do, I just might as well get rid of the smoking.
Well, more
Yeah.
power to you if you can pull it off. Longest I've ever gone intentionally is 7.5 days. And
Really?
before that, the longest I'd ever gone awake was 11.5 hours.
Okay.
Awake.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I would quit every day, you know, just before I hit the sack.
Well, yeah, that's
And then I
what
would pick it back up when I woke up, you know.
Mark Twain said. Quitting smoking is the easiest thing in the world. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did it on a daily basis for 49 years.
I'm at 33 years.
Because I started, I was about 12.
I was 16. I waited until it was legal, which is weird.
Well, what I did was I stole his cigarettes out of his pack. You
Oh,
know, one here, one there.
My dad smoked cartons, and I smoked his cigarettes almost exclusively for 2 years. Now, granted, I wasn't smoking, you know, anywhere near what I smoke now. It started out, I'd have a cigarette in the morning on the way to school, and then I'd have a cigarette on the way home from school, and that was pretty much the end of my diet until the weekend.
There you go.
But
I started on Cools because he smoked Cool cigarettes, you know, the Kool.
Yeah, I remember those.
One of my best friends still smokes those things.
Oh god, I hate menthols. Do they still make menthols down there? Because they got banned up here.
Yeah, no,
They still do them.
I call them candy cigarettes.
Yeah, I've heard them called that actually.
It's like smoking and then having fresh breath after.
Yeah, except it didn't fucking work. Yeah, every white person I know that smokes menthol smokes Cools, and every black person I know that smokes menthol smokes Newports.
Really? I was going to say the Newport. Yeah, I don't know why. It's a marketing thing, I guess.
Yeah,
the target audience.
I mean, I'm certain I've seen as many Newport articles or ads in magazines, you know, back in the day, as I saw.
Hey, Notcha, I sent you a link, man. Jump in.
Yeah, get your butt in here.
Same with you, Snarky, if you're still there.
Because I have
grumpy old Dave's here too. You want to come in, Dave? Let me know in the chat.
Let's get them both in here so none of us can understand what the fuck you two are saying.
No, I didn't even know the Cools were editing anymore.
Dave, you want to come in?
Tell Dave to quit working so hard. It's fucking midnight.
It's not midnight. He lives in my neck of the woods. It's 7:30 here.
Artie, where the hell are you when it's midnight? It's 10:30 here in the Eastern.
Right, never mind.
No, wait, you're in Indiana, so you're in my time zone.
No, it's 12:30.
Well, I'll send you a link anyways, Dave, if you want to jump in.
Reset your clock, man.
Yeah. Well, no, it's 10:30 here, but that makes it 12:30. But it's 12:30 in the afternoon in the future.
Oh, you're talking about Dave. I thought you were talking about you. Okay.
I'm doing future time.
Excuse me, please.
In case you didn't notice. Did you? I've done some rearranging in the room.
I noticed. I can see your entire green screen.
I have. My mom bought me these shelves. I don't know.
Oh, I remember those shelves. Is that the Rubbermaid things?
Yeah, they're not Rubbermaid, but yeah, that's the same thing.
Yeah, I used to have a set of those, and I put so much stuff on it, it collapsed it.
Well, I'm a little more careful than you are.
Yeah, well, I've never been known for caution. Okay.
She bought me. Cats climbing your drapes again.
I have great big steel.
Oh yeah.
I have.
Get down.
I have ones in the other room, but they were such a fucking pain in the ass to put together
yeah. Wait, we don't need more fucking plastic, man.
Well, I blew it when I bought this sofa bed here, because I'm not going to be able to move that thing myself.
Fuck no.
Dave, I sent you a link, FYI, in your Twitter.
Well, when I have to move next, which I hope will not be for a while, because I can't afford to move right now. I just spent $1,500 on parts for a new computer, like an idiot. Oh man,
Jesus.
But yeah, the other moves I had made, I rented a 10-foot U-Haul truck and did it myself. I mean, 2 moves ago, I literally did it myself. And then the move to get me here, happily, I had a friend who helped me out. And then I gave her a hand when she moved, because she was my upstairs neighbor at the old place, and she's my upstairs neighbor here, which is really wonderful. I just have to knock on her door and get her down here for a little snack or a little dinner or some shit. 'Cause we haven't seen each other in several weeks, and we live, up and down. Damn it.
You guys get along, or?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just me. I'm always doing shit.
Right.
And then she actually has a job and everything. I almost have a job now. I just don't make any money at it. We'll have to do something about that. I have to find out. Dealing with Social Security is not a bad thing. Dealing with Pennsylvania welfare isn't a bad thing, as long as I make less than $200 a month on a Patreon. So now I've got to find out what my limits are for Section 8 housing. That's the most important one. What the heck is going on?
Sorry.
Why?
There's an update in the side chat with my distraction.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's
I don't know if that went out on the
Oh, that's right.
I don't know. Dave, I sent you a link in your Twitter. I thought you would have been here by now.
Maybe he's making himself pretty.
Oh, he might be. There is a message
that's a waste of time.
Yeah, drag a break across his head. Take his all red.
Snarky said she can't join at the moment. So.
Oh wow.
I'll bet it's not because she's eating. Poor girl. Sat through that whole fucking thing last night, just starving to death, waiting for her inconsiderate betrothed to be to get her some food because she can't make a sandwich for herself.
I missed that one last night. I caught part of it near the end, but didn't get the whole thing, which was very unfortunate. There was some.
That one was a lot of fun. His interview this afternoon was a lot of fun.
I didn't see that one.
This afternoon?
Yeah.
That was shit, what's his name? He was on he's the new wheel on with Karis and Peter. What the hell's that guy's name?
Oh, what the hell is his name?
Former football player.
Yeah.
God, that's
I work with a former football player.
Robert something?
Robert Reed.
Yeah, okay, that's got to be. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, Reed, because I keep thinking Tony when I think of Reed. So yeah, Robert Reed. There we go.
I think that's right.
Former soccer player.
No, NFL player.
Oh, that kind of football. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look up where he played and all that good shit. The only other time I've ever met anybody that played in the NFL was a co-worker of a friend of mine at Charles Schwab that played safety for the Jets for 9 fucking years, and I'd never heard of him.
Oops.
Like, shit, dude, I'm sorry. Like, but I'm just under 6 foot. He's a little bit shorter than I am, and every bit as white. And I was like, "You played for 9 years?"
Wow.
Just 5'10", 5'11", white safety.
Okay, well, it's definitely not.
Safety, you don't have to be huge. So,
well, it helps if you want to play run defense.
Well, I suppose, yeah.
Well, it's definitely not this Robert Reed, because this Robert Reed was born in 1943, so that's not going to work.
Definitely be a different. He's much closer to my age. He's like somewhere in the 44 to 48 range, I think.
Hang on. I think I got it. Okay, age 43. That might be a little closer.
I remember those days.
Head, full beard. If there's a current picture, he doesn't have a channel.
No, but that may change.
Yeah.
If this is the guy, he had a season with the Chargers in '99.
He did say that his it takes longer to say NFL career than his NFL career was, or something to that effect.
Yeah, three games with the San Diego Chargers. 1 reception for 1 yard. Average 1 yard, longest 1 yard, 1 fumble.
Oh no!
Lost. Oh man, that is so horrible. I am so sorry, man. That was.
I thought he played defense, though. Maybe, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
He's not going anywhere. Man, I woke up from a nap, and Inane Dragon and a couple of other people were having an argument with another atheist, and the other atheist was that hard atheist, and he couldn't demonstrate anything that he was trying to say. I had a similar argument with a guy a couple of weeks, or not a couple of weeks, a couple of days before, and it went nothing like this. There was no animus between either of us. I'm just like, I just think you're overstating your opinion by saying that you know something that can't be known. And he would very politely say, but I feel like I can say that I know that gods can't exist. And then he would explain why. And then again, I think you're overstating your point by saying that you can know that because you're eliminating things that you've never been exposed to and saying it's impossible. And I don't think you can say it's impossible any easier than you can say that it is possible.
I always used to say, I can say that gods don't exist in the same way that I can say fairies and fucking unicorns don't exist. So.
Yeah,
well, I know several fairies.
Not necessarily.
And they would take issue.
Oh, sure. Throw that one in my face.
I certainly exist.
It's not what I mean, Dan. I'm perfectly okay with those fairies. Those are fine. We just had Pride here in Vancouver, and it was quite the to-do, I got to tell you.
One of my favorite lines in Blazing Saddles is at the very end. Mm-hmm. Dom DeLuise is the choreographer working with, and he turns around and he snaps, "Watch me, faggots!"
Oh man, I miss those movies. Yeah. They're going to be doing apparently a Spaceballs 2.
But
I saw that he was working on
as the original.
Yeah, I saw that he was working on writing that, but we'll see. There was I didn't realize at the time, and certainly I would guess nobody did, but the reason he made so many jokes about the merchandise the Spaceballs the movie merchandise in the movie was because he had contacted Lucas about making a parody of.
Yeah.
You froze, Artie.
Yeah.
Usually he can still hear us when that happens.
Hang on.
He's just going to fix something, I guess. There.
Um,
yeah, it happens.
There you go.
Lucas said, I think it's a great idea. We just ask that you don't sell any merchandise with it because there was another Star Wars movie coming out that same summer. So that's why he made all those jokes about, you know, Spaceballs the lunchbox and Spaceballs the t-shirt. It was all a bunch of shit that he couldn't sell because he'd agreed with Lucas to not sell any merchandise associated with the movie. Which sucks because I would much rather. I don't have any of that. What are the Funko or whatever Funko doll things? I don't have any of those, but I would love to have a Lord Helmet Funko doll. I think that would be funny as fuck.
It absolutely would be. That'd be awesome.
I wonder if, what's his name? John the Pencil. I wonder if he'd do one.
I'm trying to remember who did the Lord Helmet. Was that Rick Moranis?
Yeah.
With the helmet larger than he was.
That was one of the other.
He doesn't act anymore right now. He's become a family man.
We were having that conversation the other day. He's talking about coming back. I saw something on it like the next day, and I couldn't remember who was involved in that conversation. It wasn't that his wife was sick and he left acting to watch the kids. It was that his wife had died.
Yes.
And he was going to raise the kids.
Yes.
Oh.
He did some production shit while he was doing that, but he was never really. He didn't do much directing or. Yeah. He was doing stuff from home. Exactly.
Yeah, no, he left acting to raise their 2 or 3 daughters after his wife died of cancer.
Yes, right.
I knew his wife was sick. I didn't realize that she had died.
Yeah, unfortunately. It's pretty trying.
But he's in Toronto.
Yes, he is. Got to throw that A in there,
yeah.
Sorry.
So he's associated with the Oracle then.
The Oracle?
The Oracle of Toronto.
Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, but
that's the thing that Logic does.
Oh yeah. That's I totally didn't see where you're going. Fuck, he's hilarious when he does that shit.
Who was it that did that? Played that?
I cannot remember who played the Oracle, but goddamn, she was good. She reminded
fucking
for like SCTV or some shit, wasn't it?
I don't know where he ripped it off of.
Oh my goodness.
She reminded me of the that evil lady with MST3K.
I mean, you're not talking about the lady that plays like Edith Prickly or anything, right?
I cannot remember the name of this particular character in the
hang on,
let's Mystery Science
fucking
Theater.
Google this shit.
Yeah,
I love that
Google
show,
our
man.
friend.
MST3K. Yeah, first suggestion. How many times have I looked that up?
Oh, never.
Oh, it's back. It's coming back.
So it has been rebooted.
Awesome. Oh, it's Felicia Day, I think, is playing.
Oh, okay, that's what I'm after. Yeah.
That's awesome that they're rebooting it because it was so funny.
My ex was heavily involved in that. I don't know if she still is or not in the reboot. At least as far as I remember it.
Oracle of
Hey, there's Dave.
Dave's here, man.
Hey, there you are.
Wait,
it's me, Dave.
It's me, Dave.
Dave's not here.
I've got the stuff. Open up.
Yeah.
Dave's not here, man. You're gonna have to come back. Dave's not here.
This is amazing. There's now 4 people in this room, and Artemis is still the youngest.
I just
Yes.
like
Yeah,
just like
you're just a
Respect your
baby.
elders.
Artie's the baby.
Yeah, I had somebody at a liquor store the other day say something about how young I was because I had to show my fucking ID. And I'm
yeah.
not young. I'm like, I'll be 50 next fucking spring. Well, you don't look like you're 50. That's why I have to see your ID.
How much did you pay him after they said that?
I just let the guy blow me.
Whoa! Oh, let him. Oh, I see. Oh, all right, sure, why not? Yeah.
My thing is, I'm constantly, and I do mean constantly, taken 10 to 15 years younger than I am. And it amazes the hell out of me because I don't, think that I'm the kind that would be taken for that.
Yeah.
And at the same time, if you are listening in the other program, ran into some age problems recently. I mean, I truly forget how old I am.
I don't like to remember my age either. So
it's not even a matter of not wanting to remember. I mean, I literally forget because I am taken, as I say, so much younger than I am. And I don't feel that much different to the way I did at 45,
right,
or even 35 for that matter.
Oh well, I
I
feel
know.
Maybe a little mellowed out, maybe a little the flavors have melded a little better, but aside from that,
it's like the difference between second day chili and third day chili.
yes.
First day chili, a little sharp. Second day chili, smooths out a little bit. Third day chili, that's a fucking killer chili.
Yeah, and your toilet bowl thanks you for that.
Yeah, I don't abuse myself. If I'm going to abuse myself, I'll get somebody else to do it.
I haven't made a good pot of chili in a long time. I've got to do that someday.
I hate kidney beans. So mine always has, I'll have field peas and black-eyed peas and black beans in it instead of kidney beans.
Kidney beans are not a requirement for chili,
I know.
I would use pinto beans.
Really,
I prefer.
Yeah, pinto beans. If I can't, depends on if I can't find field peas, then I'll use pinto beans or
black beans to work. Any bean, you throw whatever the fuck you want in it.
I always have.
I should try.
Say that again, Dave. What are you asking?
Is this a food you people are talking about? This chili thing? You eat this shit?
Yeah. Yes.
Eat it.
It's like curry, except white people invented it.
We use that shit for unclogging drains.
Oh, really? I should try that because one of mine's fucking backed up right now.
I just use mine for that. You might use it.
I have never tried making chili with black beans. I am going to have to try that.
It's
good. It's very good. Yeah.
You might want
4 or 5 different ones.
You might want to rinse black beans, unless you
rinse them.
Well,
yes.
Yeah. It tastes fine, but it's going to mess with the color of your chili.
Oh yeah. Oh, does it?
It'll be dark. It'll be dark.
I love black bean soup. I haven't made that in a long time either. I may have to make it, film making it, and then put that on the
old YouTube
on the old cooking show, which you might have thought that I forgot about.
Grandma used to make ham in the winter. She would make ham and bean with navy beans, and in the summer she would make it with black beans.
Nice.
With summer she'd put fresh herbs from the yard and garden in there. So,
oh man, now I'm jealous.
My grandma would make spring mushroom and onion soup that she would just pluck the onions and mushrooms from her backyard.
Oh man, that's the best. When you're able to make stuff like that from scratch, from stuff from your own garden, Fuck, that's awesome.
Now, were those the psilocybe mushrooms by any chance?
Yeah. Yeah, my grandma was all about
good
that.
ones.
We live in fucking Florida. We get those every time it rains.
We get them here all the time. Grandma, your soup is the best.
Grandma.
Never do that when I'm trying to take a sip. It's gonna end up all over the screen.
Like
and it's gonna come out of my nose like a fucking sprinkler.
I just figured out, because a couple of days ago I noticed there was a very interesting pattern on the wall behind my desk, and I figured out, yeah, that was during one of the live streams when one of you clowns made me laugh while I was drinking something.
When my mom was still coming over to my house way too fucking often and cleaning, like when she brought those fucking shelves over, she looks in this room and there's, you know, shiny spittle spots all over the floor, and she's like, "Let me guess, that's beer." And I was like, "Fuck yeah, that's beer."
Yeah, we'll go with that.
No, it was beer.
Yeah, I know. I'm just.
Yeah, the other
It's my Jackson Pollock, Mum. Back off.
I thought you liked my art.
Yeah, Jackson Pollock. That's brilliant.
I actually, somebody had filmed him making his creations or whatever. I'm pretty damn sure it was Pollock.
Yeah,
he was on a platform, and it was a piece of plywood, and he's dripping paint all over it, and then after it's dried, he was cutting it up with the circular saw, and then, you know, that was
it would take him years to do a single painting, just because he'd do these numbers, and then he'd look at it and think, all right, I should stop for now, and then he'd walk away from that painting and go do something else for the next 6 or 12 months, and then he'd come back and say, all right, now it's done.
Yeah. There's always some little step at the end that he was just keeping like for a year or something.
He actually he became very famous in Australia back in the 70s.
As a house painter?
No, yeah. The Australian Museum bought Blue Poles, one of his early works, and it was a huge furor because it would cost a whole $1 million, and they're saying, "Oh, they've wasted public money on this piece of shit that, you know, it just looks like a 5-year-old could do." I mean, today it's priceless,
right?
Yeah.
$1 million was the steal of the fucking century.
Well, yeah. What's his painting, Red on White, sold for like $1.2 million, and it's literally a white canvas with a single red line down the middle of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, that one's shite. And if you paid that much money for that fucking thing to hang anywhere, you're an idiot. It's like a third of a flag.
Yeah. Well, people pay some pretty ridiculous money for some art that I just look at sometimes and go, "What the fuck?"
They're buying the label.
Yeah.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
I'm always stupefied when you see somebody that it's an absolute nobody. I'm a starving artist, and then they've got some, you know, in Indianapolis, it's fairly common for artists to display their artwork in restaurants for sale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
we have that here too.
I think it's a great idea, but, you know, you're looking at a piece that, like, oh, that's, you know, reasonably attractive. I like the colors and that, and you know, it's something about the theme speaks to me. And then you look at the price tag; it's $600 for this fucking start. No wonder you're starving, you piece of shit. How about $120 for that thing, and we walk away?
Yeah, if you start out a little cheaper, then your work might actually get out there.
Yeah, maybe you wouldn't
circulate.
be fucking hungry if you'd sell some shit.
Yeah, that's right. You could have your craft dinner.
It's one of my favorite Canadianisms, craft dinners.
Fuck yeah, buddy. Mac and cheese, man. It's a good old standby. And then we have mac and cheese poutine now, so go figure that one out.
I saw that on a
mac and cheese poutine. I just can't. I can't envision that.
Well,
I understood all those
horrible.
syllables.
What?
I understood all those syllables. Do they mean anything?
Is it
Mac and cheese poutine.
Is it still?
I know it's a thing now.
Is it still cheddar cheese and curds?
Yeah. Cheddar cheese. Yeah. Hang on. They use the gravy, the curds, and the mac and cheese would obviously made with whatever cheddar you want. I prefer white cheddar myself, but yes, they hit multiple types, cheddar,
which is also pretty white. All of Vermont's pretty white.
Well, the white cheddar is generally the more aged cheddar, which to me has actual flavor, right? So.
It's got less fat in it, so it's more appropriate for my heart smart diet.
It says as he's chugging down a beer, my heart smart diet. It's okay because technically one or two beer is actually good for that. So
yeah,
it's like wine too.
If I had one or two.
Yeah, that's the problem. I
start out drinking to be social, and then eventually I end up drinking for effect.
Yeah. The last one always tastes just like another one.
Yeah, it's my habit in my old age, which is definitely something that, on the one hand, for me, it means that I'm not a raging alcoholic, and on the other hand, it means I'm wasting money. Is that I almost invariably end up leaving or ending my night with a full beer.
Really?
Yeah.
That's one of the signs of being a raging alcoholic. You know that, right?
Now, walking away from a beer is the raging alcoholic part?
Oh, I thought you were too drunk and forgot about it.
No, I just got done drinking before I thought I was.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've done that too, where you crack one, you're like, you know what? I don't know if I can finish that.
Yeah, especially I'll crack one open and I'm like, oh, I got to get something to eat. And then after I eat, I don't want that fucking beer anymore. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just going to smoke to bed.
The mornings I've woken up and walked around the house and picked up the beers that I've opened during the night. Like I'll open a beer, have a fucking mouthful, put it down, forget where that was, go and open another beer. and you wake up the next morning and there's like 8 beers with just a mouthful strewn all over the fucking house.
Where me being the youngest one pays off. I only fuck up 1 beer a night.
Yeah.
I'll be right back, you guys, so hold the fort.
Plus, I live alone, so it's, if there's a stray beer laying around, it's mine.
Well, I'm out of beer.
Oh, shit.
That is not a good thing. No.
It was when I was living alone that I'd drink. Whew. The love of a good woman stops you a little bit. Slows you down at least.
Yeah, don't I wish. Anyway.
I think I was talking to
just rubbing that one in to use, guys.
That'd be silly.
Dave, I think it was Caleb that I was talking about you too, and he didn't realize that you had run for Parliament.
All right.
And I said, think about it. You know somebody that ran for Parliament in another country. Don't you feel at least a little bit different or weird or special? And a little bit. I mean, I didn't realize Dave had that kind of stuff in him. And I was like, yeah, now think about what you know about Dave.
The funniest thing was when I ran for Parliament, I ran against the guy who 2 elections later would eventually become the Prime Minister. And he very famously could speak Mandarin. So he was a big deal in China, this Australian Prime Minister that could speak Mandarin. So in my working day, I deal with the Chinese quite a bit. And so when they'd ask your name, I'd say blah, blah, blah. And they'd Google my name and they'd go, oh, wow, we see you being election with Supreme Leader. And it was like, oh, yeah, I'm third from the top.
Well, what Dave isn't telling you is we actually have a very large Chinese population here.
Yeah.
Because Dave and I are in the same neck of the woods. He's literally the city next to me.
Yeah. In Canada.
Yeah.
Canada? You're in Canada, aren't you?
Yeah, Canada.
Yeah.
Canada.
I don't know if you guys know the story behind that, but in Canada, when the first settlers came here, and I guess they were talking to the natives, and actually the word Canada means village. and they meant, oh, they wanted to know what this place was called, but the natives misunderstood because, you know, language barrier.
Right.
And they said Canada, and they thought that they meant the whole fucking thing was Canada, but they were just meaning their village.
Well, that's still way less fucked up than how the entire half of the fucking planet got named after Amerigo Vespucci.
Yeah.
One of the world's worst cartographers gets an entire half of the planet named after him. Never the captain of a boat. Never the captain of a boat. Never set foot on anywhere in any of the Americas, and half the planet is named after that fucker.
You're pretty lucky.
It's as dumb as celebrate. Every Columbus Day, these motherfuckers in the United States want to celebrate Columbus. I'm like, what is it you think that he did that is worthy of celebrating? Well, he brought civilization.
Other than fuck up.
He brought civilization to the New World. I'm like, no,
it was already there, for Christ's sake.
The Aztecs, the Incas, they all did that.
Yeah.
I remember.
Artie, I live in Queensland.
When Columbus finally landed in the Americas, the largest city in the world was in Mexico.
Yeah, that's right.
There's 1 million people living in one city, and the second largest city was London, and it was less than a quarter of that size at the time.
Yeah.
I love the way my American history, I call him my American history prof, but this was high school, introduced the subject, first day of class in American history. You know, what is it with this Columbus? It's a wonder Columbus ever made 3 trips. It's a wonder Columbus ever made 3 trips. You know, it's a wonder Columbus ever made 3 trips, because when he left, he didn't know where he was going. When he got there, he didn't know where he was. When he came back, he didn't know where he had been.
Wasn't he looking for India? He thought he was going to hit India, right?
He thought he had landed in the East Indies.
Yeah, exactly. Looking for the trade route, spice trade route or whatever.
Yep, and he was one of those hardheads that wasn't listening. He was a small earther. There were the large earthers and the small earthers. You know, it's reminiscent of what we've got going today here. But he would not listen to the possibility that there was another landmass between Spain and
there he is.
Oh shit!
Hey,
Ross,
look
what's
at
going on, buddy?
There goes
What's
the neighborhood
up? Hey,
right down the toilet.
My phone's at 1%, so I'm not sure how long I'll be on here.
Okay, we'll see you, buddy.
Right? Might as well get your goodbyes and hellos all at the same time.
Yeah. Well, fuck, get a charger, man. What the hell's wrong? You need one of these fucking portable copies.
I'm actually outside, and I'm about to go over to my mom's to, she lives right down the road, thank goodness, but I'm about to walk down there and do some stuff for her real quick and then head back down to the house. But so what's going on? What are we talking about?
Right now, we were talking about Dave being in politics for a while. We're talking about how Artie's the youngest of all of us. We were talking a little bit about Peter. Until you showed up.
Yeah, don't even mention my status. I'm disappointed in my own status where that comes in.
I think you get your own collector's plates pretty soon, don't you, Diana?
That's about right.
Commemorative spoon.
And I meant that in a loving way.
Yeah, I got the biggest surprise of my life just like maybe 5 minutes ago.
You're
no way.
Of course. I mean, I'm due any minute now. I mean, I'm just saying.
We're gonna have little baby geese. All right.
A little gooselet.
Yes. We're gonna have a little gooselet. You know, he's gonna be a mildly irritated gooselet.
Gooselet.
Gooselet. I like that. Okay,
but no, so I've been having issues with my truck. My truck's not running too good right now, and my aunt gave my fiance a call and said that whenever I'm available to call her back and put it on speakerphone. And so I did, and she's like, hey, so as an early wedding gift, because we heard you're having car problems, we're just gonna give you your uncle's old truck. And I was like,
Oh, no way.
oh,
Sweet.
That kicks
That's
yeah,
awesome, man.
that-
That's awesome.
Very
yeah,
cool.
I just was stunned for a moment. And I was just quiet. I was like, oh,
Just let me pick up
Okay.
my jaw off the floor here, and I'll.
right. Let me just pick this up real quick so that way I can talk.
Yeah.
But it
That's
really,
awesome, dude.
it really took some stress off of us.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. That's one less thing you got to worry about.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was.
yeah.
That's almost worth getting married for.
I had a tree come down on my car. It landed right. It was a 4-door. You know the car from.
I fucking hate those anti-car trees. Fuck.
Remember the car from Office Space, the beige Corolla.
Gotta go, folks. Sorry.
Yes.
That was my car.
All right, Dave. We'll talk to you later, man. If you could jump, we might be here still, so try us again later. Cheers.
Yeah, love you, Dave. It was exact same car, same year, same all brown interior. It was exact same fucking car. And this huge silver maple, actually 2 of them, came down on the A-pillar in the middle of my fucking car, turned it into a skateboard.
Oh shit!
And when they cut the tree off of it, there was a dead bat on my trunk, and I was like, I don't give a fuck about this piece of shit car, but why did the bat have to die?
Yeah, right.
But my folks bought me a fucking Subaru to replace it, and I just giddy. It's the best fucking car I've ever had in my life. It's
when I got off the phone with my aunt, me and my fiance were talking, and she was like, "Wow." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "I mean, it's a Ford and all, but
What do you got against Ford?"
Well,
huh?
It used to be that you couldn't drive 100 miles without something electrical popping off.
Yeah, not only that, but you know what Ford stands for, right?
Found on the road dead.
First on race day.
I always heard fuck over rebuilt Dodge.
Ooh, that one's hurtful.
Right.
Yeah, fucking old rebuilt Dodge. Yeah, I have a Ford Fusion, and it's given me nothing but no problems at all. Just regular wear and tear.
The cars actually last a lot longer than the trucks do. But this is a newer, but it's not a brand new, but it's a newer truck, and it's actually not too bad. They said that they believe that the only thing that's wrong with it is the AC and heater don't work perfectly. But I mean, really, who the fuck cares? It gets me from point A to point B. I'm happy.
Yeah,
that's the main thing, right?
There's probably just a thermostat, and the air conditioner might just need to be recharged.
Yeah, but since my mechanic buddy who was going to come,
the AC doesn't work. You just might need some more of that R134A shit.
Yeah, the heater might be that the head's blown. That would suck.
Oh yeah,
that would suck, because that's an expensive fucking job.
Yeah, but
you have a mechanic buddy, so that helps.
Yeah,
I've been in the industry for over 30 years, so yeah, I know all about that shit, buddy.
Yeah, he's gonna come over. He was gonna come over Monday to take a look at the old truck, but I'm gonna go ahead and just have him say, "Hey, look, just look into this AC and heater problem, and it'll be good."
Sell the beater, get it running, and get as much money out of it as you can.
That's exactly.
I always get $700 for a fucking beat up pickup truck.
Yeah, well, I mean, not too terribly bad actually. I mean, yeah, the back end needs to be done up again, but other than that, I mean, besides this issue, which really, it's not like it's a very hard fix, but A, it's expensive, and B, it's time consuming. So
that's
like,
why,
for instance, I have to get a whole new cam kit, a whole new oil pressure sensor, a solenoid in the transmission went out. So these are all
transmission's big deals.
Yeah, and so and the fucked up thing about the transmission thing though is it's not a hard fix, but because you have to drop the transmission. You have to sit there and actually fuck with it like that.
On top.
What?
There's a lot involved with that, dude, and that's why I won't fucking touch transmission jobs.
Yeah.
I'll say, take it to an expert.
Yeah, but like I said, it's not that hard of a fix. It's just, or not like it's not like it's something that's, you know, oh, I gotta take the entire engine type of thing apart type of deal. It's just that it's a bitch to do. So
yeah. And there's always a tool that you're like, fuck, why didn't I buy that fucking tool?
I remember I used to have one of my best cars I ever had was it was 1990, might have been a 1990 Buick Regal, when they were putting transverse engines in cars.
Oh my God, yes.
The back three plugs were like, I don't know, 2 feet and an inch and a half away from the firewall. So you had to put a light over your ear so you could see where you're putting your ratchet down 1.5 feet to get it onto the plug. And fuck that car. Working on it was a nightmare.
So apparently you've been duplicated. Russ. I think maybe his battery died and he tried to join again or something.
Yeah, my battery did die, so I now have the tablet.
Oh. So there's 2 of you in here. I always knew your split personality would show up eventually.
Yeah, he'll drop off. That was the bad guy.
You're trying to
that was the evil Russ.
Yeah, it's the evil me.
So Diana, you're very quiet right now. You're very quiet. What you doing?
Oh, I was just, for the heck of it, looking up the Australian elections in 2001.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and I was just having some fun with that. And, yeah, okay.
I think my favorite fact about Australia that I didn't know, and then an additional fact that Dave taught me, was that first it was a Bill Bryson book that taught me that the Prime Minister in like '83 or something went for a swim on the beach and was never seen again.
Oh wow.
I never heard about this.
And in a stroke of irony, I didn't either. I read it in a fucking book. The more evil stroke of irony is that they named a municipal pool after him.
Oh my God, that's great.
That's the part that Dave taught me.
Oh my goodness, that is fucking hilarious.
Your Prime Minister drowns from an undertow, probably.
Let's name a pool after him.
They never saw him again. His body didn't wash up anywhere.
Holy shit! He probably got eaten by a shark,
or caught by the undertow and then taken to Asia somewhere.
Yeah.
But then they named a
stung by like a fucking box jellyfish or something, and then caught up and that's it.
Yeah, it was. The thing about it that freaked me out the most was that, you know, this is a significant world leader that came up missing, and I had never fucking heard that story before.
And neither have I. This is first ever.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, Dave, you've disappeared. Or not Dave. Artie, you've disappeared on us. And Russ has muted himself. Oh, there you are. You're back. I guess Russ has some going on.
Yeah, I'm talking to my mom real quick.
Oh, no worries. No worries. There's usually a reason why. So. And that's one of them.
Bring it up again. We'll vote on it.
Oh, so you heard that.
I like that. I've never heard that before. That's great. I'm just used to always hearing the old standby, oh, that was well brought up, what happened to you, kind of thing right there.
And what's really interesting, Neil, is that for whatever reason today, Artie is not bathed in the red light. You are.
Oh, that's probably because of the little light that I have here. Because somebody said I needed to have more light in front of me.
That so little light of yours?
Little light of mine. I'm going to let it shine. It's going to turn my face red.
Yeah, see, I ordered this little thing.
Could be the booze, too.
Yeah, I ordered this little thingy to put I've got an older camera that I've never tried.
Hey, I have the exact same little
thingy,
stand thingy. Yeah, you can wrap around anything. Those
yeah,
are great.
I'm trying to figure out how I could strap it to the top of my monitor, but it makes it a little too tall. I think it's already a little too tall, and this makes it like 4 inches taller. But I'm gonna try to swap out this camera so that I don't have to keep putting my hand up there to get the color adjustment. Right. I'm pretty sure mine, because the green bleaches it out, it throws in red to try to compensate for it. So I keep having to do that.
Well, green and red, when you learn when you deal with paints, that green and red are polar opposites, so they will always cancel each other out. If you want to,
I knew that. That's why I said it, Neil.
Oh, okay. I'm just gonna sit here and be quiet now. I'm just gonna drink my scotch.
Here's to that.
Wait, you came onto my show and you're drinking light beer?
Yeah, that's cheap.
I don't know, kids. No, that just doesn't. That's wrong. It's just plain old wrong.
I can get a 12-pack of Tall Boys.
There you go, Artie. Now you're nice and red.
I can get a 12-pack of Tall Boys for $10 and change, which is.
I hear you.
10-pack of Tall Boys is 18 beers. No,
just takes you a little longer to get drunk. That's all.
It's 16 beers. Yeah. But if I buy a case of Miller Lite, it's $20. Like, I don't think
so you get 16 Tall Boys, which is like almost the same for less money.
Right. Well, it's basically I would end up paying $1.25 for each of the extra beers to make it a full case, which I'm too good at math to be that stupid. Although I will admit, the first time I saw it, I was like, "Wait a minute, that looks really cheap." And I got my phone out, my calculator. Oh, it is cheap.
Okay, done deal.
The state keeps raising the price of a case of beer, but for whatever reason, a 12-pack of Tall Boys, the price stays the fucking same. So I just keep buying. But I didn't have any beer yesterday, and I only had 2 beers the night before. And I'm trying to cut down on the amount of money I spend on beer. Although, if I drink cheap beer, man, my blood pressure just.
Oh, really? So you should stick to the good stuff then.
I try to. That's why I don't drink it very often. Although it.
No, you froze up on us already.
Every time I see you, you're drunk.
There you
go. That's true, but you don't see me every fucking day. It's like every time I see you at the bar, you're drinking.
At the bar? Did you say at the bar?
Yes.
What the fuck else are you supposed to do at the bar? You can only play so much fucking Keno.
Play darts, although I can't do that.
Darts or that, yeah. I don't even know where my old dart set is. It's probably in fucking storage somewhere, but I used to rock the shit.
Yeah, me too. I used to play cricket constantly. Every fucking night I would play hours of cricket.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
And then I moved to California.
It's weird that
the first question my neighbor said was, "You play darts?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, yes, I do actually."
I thought you'd never ask. I know it doesn't happen around here very often, man. Not anymore. It was that back in the day. It was that, or what the fuck else did we play? A lot of shuffleboard.
Shuffleboard, play a lot of stuff.
Foosball.
Never big on foosball, but I played a lot of shuffleboard and darts.
And air hockey. Air hockey was good.
That one is strictly Canadian. There are no fucking bars in the United States that have air hockey outside of Wisconsin and Minnesota.
Wisconsin, Minnesota. Yeah, you guys, I should have got into fucking doing voices. I'm telling you.
You should have.
We were fucking around at work the other day. I was doing a bunch of different voices, and my buddy goes, "You realize I just clocked 72 different voices that you've done?" I'm like, "Oh, really?" He goes, "Yeah, unique, different fucking voices, including different accents, different characters that you've mimicked, like some of the Muppets or whatever, right?" And I'm like,
"Shit, like, you know, I've got an admirer at work."
Well, no, because he's my partner, so he's in there. He has to put up with my bullshit. So So what do you do, right? I'm going on to him. I'm like, talking like the queen, and stuff like that, right? And he's just like, holy shit, dude, you should have been doing that for a living. I'm like, yeah, I've heard that before, and you're probably right. And I could be way richer than I am right now, but how the hell I ended up in the automotive industry, then which turned into the chemistry for the environment. Well, I did take chemistry, so the environmental place that I work at now, yeah, and I make decent cash, but my love will always be music and animation type
I
voices.
spent 20 years hearing people tell me you should do stand-up. I have written I have written jokes for at least technically 3 different stand-up.
My entire life, I've been told that my face is perfect for radio.
I think your mom was a little hard on you when she said that.
You said hard on.
Oh yes, mom sit there and when other moms would say, "Oh, you can be whatever you want," mine was like, "You should try something else."
You gotta love the encouragement from mom there.
No, I'm just kidding. My mom was actually really, really
Supportive.
really, supportive of me, but I couldn't pass up a joke to make fun of myself.
Yeah.
Have you got a lovebird or a cockatiel in the background there, Russ?
There is a cockatiel over here at my mom's house, and it is right near my face talking to me, and I'm ignoring it, but it just keeps talking to me. And now said pretty bird.
I owned one for years that I rescued out of a garbage bag in the underground parking lot of my old apartment building years ago. Somebody tried to kill it. If somebody tried to kill it by leaving it in
If y'all stay quiet for a
black-
minute, y'all can actually hear it say pretty bird.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
there it is. There it is.
Did you do the?
Yeah,
a lot of
it
times,
says that.
a lot of times people take, to enhance birds talking, they'll take a razor, heat it up, and split the tongue. A little bit.
I've
Not a
heard
lot.
of that, and that sounds like it's got to be horrible.
Yeah, I think so too. And most of the time, you don't need to do that. It's just people want them to be performing birds, so apparently it helps them enunciate words. So I don't know. I think it's cruel either way. But
I can remember there was I think it was in Indiana. The case was a woman bought a parrot at like a mall pet store,
which you should never do.
Which you should never do. And certainly she regrets it because, as it turns out, her bird was used, and the first time one of her neighbors walked in, the bird went nigger, 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 nigger.
Oh boy.
And it just happened to be a black neighbor that walked into the house, and she's like, okay, I can't have this fucking bird because most of my friends are black. So she went back to the store, and she's like, every time this bird sees a black person, this is what it does. And like, well, we don't guarantee that a bird won't do that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't guarantee that the bird won't say racist shit.
Yeah. The bird doesn't know either way. I mean, it was taught
right.
to do
No,
that, right?
Obviously not the bird's fault, but
no, it's the assholes that
you see. The only thing a bird would have fear of repeating what I say is a lot of fuck and shit.
That's all my buddy's old bird used to say.
There's a snake behind you.
What? Where's the snake? What?
No, it's what you tell a parrot. It's the parrots in Mexico are hunted by snakes.
Oh, I see. So you teach
My
the
sister
parrot to say there's a snake behind you.
My sister had a Mexican redheaded parrot that sounded exactly like her.
Awesome.
My mom said that there's one time she came home late, and she walks to the door, it's dark, and all of a sudden she hears my sister saying, hello? Hello? And she's like, Ashley, go to bed. And it's like, hello? And then she got over to the cage, and it got louder, and she right then there knew that it was a damn bird.
Mimicking her. That's awesome.
My town has, there aren't that many left in the world, but my town has the world's largest children's zoo. It's over there It's almost exactly a mile from my house to the entrance of the zoo.
I don't see anything.
They used to they're over there. There used to
yeah, okay, now I see it.
There used to be a minor bird right at the entrance in a great big cage, so everybody had to walk around it that would say, "Hello, welcome."
Minor bird, so it was what, underage?
Mine
okay.
Like more with a Canadian accent.
As
Couldn't buy you any beer.
As opposed to a Eurobird, okay?
Right. Mine.
It's yes. Minor bird. It's not your bird.
It's the nor'easter. It's the nor'easter version of minor. Mina.
Okay. Oh, gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
I know what they are.
A lot of people up there, drop letters. We know a couple of them.
We'd like to drop acid, actually.
It's been a while.
Okay.
Yeah, me too, to be honest.
First one to find clean hits. I'm coming. You have a visitor, and I will buy a sheet of clean hits and come to.
Oh, he's right. I think you're pretty quick, right? I think I just heard you knocking at the door.
Yes.
Can you even...
Today, my mother rescued a squirrel. And it is in a cage, and it is looking at me somewhat through the side of its face.
It probably likes goose.
Of course, it's like, ooh, come here, goose.
Really turned on by the bird.
No, wait, I thought that in most...
turned on by your big muscles.
Oh, no.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I thought in most states you had to have a license of a specific sort to...
Oh, not in Texas. In Texas, you can have wildlife, but they do say that once it gets to, like, for instance, this is a squirrel. My mom has it just long enough so that way it can try to get better, because it would run out in the grass and then it would just kind of flop over. And so
is that
I don't know. It would just because it was still trying to move, and then it'd get up again and do it again. But
one of the funniest things maybe the funniest part of my college education was my freshman psych class, and it was one of the first days. I showed a movie on narcolepsy, and there was video of an entire litter of Labrador puppies, like 8 of them, that had narcolepsy. And because they all came from the same litter, presumably, they would sync their narcoleptic fits together. So there'd be like 30 seconds of puppies playing in the backyard, and then they all hit the fucking ground at the same time.
No.
And then they'd all wake up, and then they'd start playing in the backyard, and for about 30 seconds they'd all be playing together, and then they'd all hit the fucking ground.
You guys see what Nacha put here in the chat room?
Oh, was it a nod joke?
No, he's talking about he got limited on Twitter because he was calling out somebody who was being racist.
Not again. I have heard so many stories of this happening where the person who is the offender gets off scot-free. The person who calls out the offender gets it up the butthole with a 2x4.
Yeah, the technique is to report them and then respond. I have figured this out.
Ah, it's a good idea, actually.
That I haven't been blocked or had been suspended heading services since I started doing that. If somebody says something that's racist enough to make you want to respond, report it and then respond to it.
That's a good idea, because I got shadow banned I think because I used the expression a couple of times earlier in the day, and they thought I was a bot. And I got 2 fucking weeks in solitude for that.
You're kidding. Jesus.
Nope.
At least when I got 1 week, and granted I kind of earned it, but it was funny. It was
earned it. Earned it. I don't know if I'd say I earned it.
I'm fairly confident that I'm comfortable in the knowledge that I earned it. I assume I was debating a creationist. I don't remember, but I said the people that taught you science should be shot in front of their families.
Whoa.
Whoa.
What?
See, I told you.
See, yeah, that's kind of, yeah. I can understand why they would do that.
Funny joke, but it does it does condone violence. So,
yeah,
I've learned to rephrase it. But maybe people should consider whether or not it's possible that it might be, might be a problem solver. Were those people to have developed a taste for lead while in the presence of family members?
Taste for lead.
Ow.
I try to keep my paint drinking down to a minimum.
And the amazing thing about that, Artie, you're talking about getting shadow banned for that comment. There's a Twitter war I'm observing currently, and there's some idiot who's going on about the firearms he likes to carry around in places you have no business carrying firearms, and doing his own reloads for special purposes. And this guy can get along or get by with saying that sort of thing and even making implications.
Hey guys, real quick, because
fucking joke.
Go ahead.
I'm just gonna say that I'm about to eat dinner and a train's about to come anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off.
Okay, Russ, good to have you aboard for a while there, bud.
Good
always, always. I love coming on anybody's and everybody's stream.
Oh, so I'm not special. Fuck you.
Well, especially you, Neil. Especially you. I mean, you have the best streams.
Look how
No, I don't. There's like 5 people watching, and 3 of them are probably us.
Look, I'm being like Trump. You have the best streams. They're just phenomenal. They're the best. No one streams better than you. You have the best streams.
Bigly.
You can tell by my bigly vocabulary that you have the best streams.
And your bigly muscles.
You have
words. Yes.
All right, well,
all right,
enjoy
guys.
the rest
I'll
of
talk
your
to y'all
evening,
later.
man.
Have good dinner.
Peace out, brother.
The nice things to cook.
Peace out.
All right. And here is
good. He's gone.
All right.
Yeah. Now we can talk about him.
I'm gonna see if I can fix my my red face problem with. I'll show you in a second.
Wait.
Oh no.
I'm having a brainstorm.
Uh-oh, careful. You don't want lightning to hit too much in there. That could fuck shit up. What's he gonna do? What are you gonna paint yourself green? That should neutralize it.
Remember, we're talking about Artie. It could be anything.
This is true. I'm actually kind of excited to see what's gonna happen here.
What the hell are you doing?
What the hell are you doing?
What, are you going to turn yourself green now? You're trying to hang red stuff? And
I'm going to go the other way.
Oh, I see. That's not going to help you. But it's very nice, whatever it is. It looks kind of Aztec-y pattern-y kind of thing.
Yes. And there is a cat which wants all attention.
Of course. That's why she shreds your draperies.
Yes. Well, so much for that idea, Artie.
And back to the drawing board we go.
All right, hang on.
I thought that's what you were trying to do. Jesus, you keep this up, Artie, I'm going to totally support your comedy career.
All right, so I added some red.
So you're going to confuse the color balance. Yeah, there you go.
My mom made that. It's my quilt.
Really? It's actually kind of nice, man. I like that style of patterning.
She's really making me another one because nobody else in the family wanted it. So,
lucky you.
Well, the best part of that is nobody else wanted it, so she asked me if I wanted it. Let's match
she
the
waited
arm
till
rate
the
to
end.
everybody else in the family, and then said, "Well."
And then you. Oh, Mom, I'm glad I'm your favorite.
You made me cry.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, I'm there. Couldn't imagine that I was my parents' favorite. They don't get didn't get any grandkids from me. I cost them.
I think, they bug me about that too. They never got any from me either. But I'm pretty sure my sister is pretty angry about the fact that I apparently was my parents' favorite. But then she went and spit out a bunch of kids, so they like her better than me.
Yeah,
So,
it's funny that my brother has always, to his wife apparently, because she's the one that talks to me about it, talked about how much easier my childhood was than his because of how we related with to our parents. And I'm like, that is not my fucking recollection at all.
Yeah, it never is.
I got along with Mom a lot. I think we both got along with Mom a lot better than we got along with our dad. But my dad...
Well, sure. That's why we get expressions like mama's boy and daddy's girl, right?
My dad did not get along with me at all. We had nothing in common. And at least my brother and my dad could bond over sports and shit. And like baseball, I was no good at baseball. I had really good arm, couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with a baseball bat. And
my dad was an umpire, and I was forced to play baseball for fucking 9 years.
I was forced to. I didn't want to fucking play baseball. I was horrible at it.
I was too until later, but I actually ended up getting good at it. So
I broke this finger.
Oh yeah, I think I busted here where I got hit by a ball one time.
I broke this one right across there.
Look at us. We're comparing wounds.
Yeah. Well, I was using.
Yeah, well, you know,
it was the first bone I broke. I was like 8 years old, and I was using two hands to catch the ball, and the ball hit the end of my finger. And I'm double jointed, so my finger bent backwards, snapped that bone, and I dropped the ball. And then when I lifted my hand up to see what was going, because my fucking finger hurt, it was like that.
Oh, great.
So I freaked the fuck out, and my dad came on the field. He just pulls it straight, you know, and I'm like, oh, that's better.
I hate seeing that.
Best part of that was I couldn't play baseball that summer.
I have a separation in the eyebrow up here from when I caught a fly ball with my face. That was fun.
I caught a hot grounder in the eye, and my eye swelled up and bruised, so you could see the stitches from the ball in the bruising on my eye.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Beautiful. That's fucking awesome.
So my eye literally looked like a baseball.
So what'd you get hit with? Come on, really?
That was an acorn. I got hit by an acorn.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I ran into a tree full speed one time. I was playing catch with a football in the neighbor's yard next door, and his old man was throwing the ball, and he led me into a tree.
Boom.
Oh so my God! I'm story already.
Focused on catching the fucking ball, and the tree hits me. Bam! And
I have exactly the same thing happened to me.
I had the bruises of the bark in my face.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I had the same thing, fucking right on this side, right in my face here, and it was you could see indents of shit all over the fucking place.
Yeah,
it was great.
The first time when I split my eyebrow, I was playing volleyball at one of my cousin's high school graduation parties, and I was a hotshot volleyball player, and so I dove and hit a ball, and then as I rolled out of my dive to get back to standing up, my face smacked into a picnic table. And then I jumped back into the game and ended up scoring the point. And then everybody on this court freaked the fuck out because of the amount of blood running down my face.
Yeah. And you don't even notice, right?
No, I had no idea. I mean, it hurt, but I didn't even have a headache from it.
Yeah, and suddenly you're lightheaded, and they're like, well, yeah, you just lost 5 gallons of blood for fuck's sake.
I didn't even have that. Luckily, I was at my the Catholic side of the family's house, and I had been drinking, but that really had nothing to do with it.
And, no.
It really didn't. Because I hit the ball. I ended up scoring. Not only did I return one, I ended up winning the point.
Sweet. I don't need alcohol to be clumsy. I'm already clumsy.
so I'm in the kitchen, and my mom and her sister, my aunt, are attending to my wound, and my cousin, the third youngest of my aunt's kids, she comes in. She's like, you left your stuff outside. You want me to go get it? I was like, well, yeah. Could you get my sunglasses and my beer for me? And my mom goes, do you really need the beer? And her sister goes,
it's not a case of want, Mom.
Yeah,
or need. It's not a case of need.
Tells my mom it's not going to hurt. Like, well, yeah, it might actually, but fuck it, give me another beer.
Just so you guys know, about a half an hour left because I gotta fuck off at around 9. So 9 my time. I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say it was 2.5 hours ago.
Yeah, yeah. So about another half hour we're gonna screw around because I'm having a great time. So
yeah, whatever.
No, this is I love this. I love this when we get together like this and just shoot the shit.
I do too.
We don't always have to talk about, well, you know, the church this and atheism that, and blah blah. We already know how we feel about that fucking horse shit.
Oh, so but why do you always talk about God so much? For somebody who doesn't believe in God, you talk about it so much.
I know. Well, actually, we don't until you fucking pricks start bringing it up. Then we get in there and we're like, fuck you, shut up.
Yeah.
Put it in a nutshell. Yeah.
Why do you have to tell everybody you're an atheist? I don't know. Why does literally every fucking street corner downtown have a church?
Yeah, yeah. Or idiots out there preaching.
This town used to have more churches per capita than any city in the country.
Seriously? Like more than 7-Elevens?
More than Marietta, Ohio. Oh God.
Yeah, there was. It's been a while since we held that title. But yeah, up until about 15 or so years ago, we had more churches per capita than any city in the country.
Wow.
And there are 200,000 of us here, and we still had that many fucking churches.
And
that impresses me as a record you really don't want to hold.
Yeah, right.
This town. This. If you've heard the story, I apologize, but this story absolutely encapsulates what this town is. I live in a town that was named after Mad Anthony Wayne, and there are 2 historical plaques. You know, those historical markers next to the side of the road. I don't know if you do them in Canada, but in the United States, are these big black bronze things that tell you something about what happened at this site historically and why it matters.
Yeah, we have stuff like that here too. Yeah,
and the original marks the point where we think historically the original fort was built in this town, and over the years it became necessary because of the flooding of the rivers to raise the road, and they built a new bridge. So they raised the road and they built a new bridge, and down where the road used to be is a bike and walk path, which is a very cool thing for a town that's this fucking backwards. But so rather than just move the historical marker, they produced a new one in 1987, and the marker reads something to the effect that, and the particulars of the details don't matter. It's the phrase that they kept in there that makes it so much about this town. Roughly, it says, on this site in the original fort was built here on this site, blah blah blah, and was used to defend the French and English settlers from the local savages.
Local savages.
Savages, yeah.
That was the phrase they repeated from the old marker, was the local savages.
Right. You mean the way that people used to think?
In 1987, they reproduced something that used the word savages.
And these savages were very likely more civilized than the people who usurped them.
Yeah, we're truly the savages.
Mad Anthony Wayne was a crazy fucker. He was...
Hence the name Mad.
Yeah. Well, he was actually crazy from... he was very fond of having new hats, which were stiffened with mercury, so he had mercury poisoning, which literally drove him insane.
But that's where Mad as a Hatter comes from.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was a fucking maniac of the likes of Andrew Jackson and then some. And there are counties in at least 4 states that I can think of: Kentucky, Indiana, Michigan, and Ohio, that are named after him.
Yep.
My town, there's another town in Michigan that has the same name as my town. And this is somebody, there's a statue of him in the park downtown. And the thing that's great about where the statue is in the park downtown is that the base of the park is below street level, and the entirety of the statue is hidden by trees 6 months of the year because of the way that it's sunken. So the canopy of the trees is at street level. So you can't see that fucking statue at all unless you're in the park.
Right.
And that's the way the man deserves to be commemorated. It's below street level where nobody can see him unless they accidentally bump into that fucking statue. Because otherwise, what a sick motherfucker to give any reverence to ever.
Well, the area I live in is known for having commemorative plaques to things like retreats and general officers getting shot and killed.
My favorite one, the town that my son's mom is from, they have a plaque commemorating the fact that they were the northernmost town to be taken by the Confederate Army, and it was taken without a shot being fired.
Oh, for fuck's sake, man. Yeah, great.
They had to cross the Ohio.
Just a lot of insults flying back and forth.
They had to cross the Ohio River from Kentucky in boats, and when they got over there, everybody's like, "All right." Nobody's shooting at them while they're coming. Nobody's shooting at them after they got there.
I lose track of the number of commemorative plaques dedicated to the death of General Braddock.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that's all you see around here. Well, that and George Washington's retreat after Braddock was killed. So you have to wonder, what the hell was.
Where are you?
The point?
Harrisburg? Are you in Harrisburg?
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. When I took my trip across the east, when I just loaded up the dogs and went east, and we went looking at Civil War battlefields, and I talked about the bridge. That trip, that was for me. It was. I wish that I had learned. I'm a tactile learner and a visual learner, so I wish that I had been taught history in a way that I love the displays at national parks where they showed it, like Gettysburg, where they show, well, they came down this hill over here like this, and the little LED lights showing you that this is how they came down, and this is where they were, and then you can look out this fucking huge window and see it. And and rather than saying, "Oh, this is Pickett's charge and it did this," well, that doesn't mean much for me when I'm reading it. But if I can visualize it in any way, it makes a huge difference. And I'm sorry, it's completely
visuals always help.
Completely disjointed rant, but I was arguing with somebody about how deadly the flu was and can be, talking about vaccines. And I saw something the other day. The 1918 Spanish flu killed 600,000 Americans. And the only thing that killed more in this country ever was the Civil War. And that took 6 years.
Yeah. Without the proper medication or vaccinations, that kind of shit can take a lot of people down. And it did in the old, I mean.
It had a mortality rate of 20% in the United States. And
that's fucking unheard of nowadays for shit like that, right? Because we are on top of it. But back in the day, before we knew any of this, the mortality rates were extremely high. 20% is really big for you people that don't realize that.
Yeah, for anybody,
you've
got trying to calculate the math.
You've got 5 people in a hospital room. One of them's going to die.
Yeah,
or 2.
Or 20%'s 1 in 5.
Well, yeah. But chances are it would be a little bit higher.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. Yeah, and I mean you're dealing in integer You can't have half a person die.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, once you put 6 people in that hospital, chances are you're going to lose 2 more likely than one.
That's more what I mean, right? Like,
Yeah,
you're never going to have just 5. There's always going to be more. So your chances are
you're
losing people.
We get that you
to something that is preventable too, right? And nowadays, and that's why these anti-vaxxers fucking just piss me off.
Well, that's why I bothered to bring it up, because it for anybody who has a conversation with an anti-vaxxer, it talks about the fact that flus aren't that fucking deadly. Yeah, they fucking they fucking can be. And the last time the H1N1 popped up in the United States, I had a friend of a friend who spent 6 months in a special hospital bed designed just for the problems that she had that were associated with her having the flu. She was
H1, and isn't that that's the SARS one, right? Isn't it?
It's all based on they're numbered by the proteins, and there's lots of variants. Spanish flu. Spanish flu was an H1N1. The last time it was here, it was called a bird flu. But it's
right, or avian, or
there could be 1,000 varieties of H1N1 or H2N6 or whatever. But yeah, but H1N1 is one that we really don't produce antibodies against.
That's why it hits so many people. It's
right.
More voracious.
Same basis as the Spanish flu. So there are more people than there were, then, but not that many, because not that many people, only 8 and 10 survived it. But anyway, yeah, it was just anytime you're up against somebody who talks about the fact that the flu is not that fucking deadly. A perfectly healthy 26-year-old woman lost all of her left leg due to necrosis because of the flu. She spent 6 months in the hospital because of the flu. Yeah, that shit can, and any given person, absolutely take you the fuck out.
Yep.
That's why we have vaccines. Measles is the same thing. Measles not that big a deal, except that it kills people.
Yeah, you got to get that shit while you're young, and you can fight it.
And this is the amazing thing when I think about it. I had measles.
So did I.
Because I predate the measles vaccine. I was 5 years old when I had my case of measles, and I think
I came in.
MMR came out shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I came in and it was just a new thing, the measles vaccine. But my folks, anytime we heard of a kid in the neighborhood that had like the chicken pox or mumps or measles, Mom was taking us over there. It's like that South Park episode with Ookie Mouth, right?
Oh, yeah, you had the pox parties and all that shit, yeah.
Sure, yeah. To make sure that the kids got it and they dealt with it. And now the only thing we have to worry about is fucking shingles, right?
Yeah, my chicken.
Well, there's what I'm worried about a little bit here, because my sister had a roaring case of chicken pox. I'm around her all the time. I never got chicken pox. Ever. And there are people who are telling me that I could run into problems.
You could, but you might also be naturally immune.
That's nice. That's what I was going to say.
That would be nice.
That's one of the great that was another one of those things that just I'm full of Claven knowledge tonight. One of the great things that I learned by watching these fucking stupid documentaries that I used to go to sleep when I'm high at night.
I still do.
The people that survived the Black Plague, that got the Black Plague in Europe and survived it, their ancestors, as often as not, are immune to HIV. Yeah,
that's right. Because it was closely related, apparently, like it's very similar symptoms.
But that's part of the wonder is that they're not sure why, because the two aren't that closely related. But the one fires off an maybe
that's what it was that I heard. Yeah,
the one fires off an antibody that just happens to work for the other.
That's what it was that I heard. Yeah.
Oh, so they share a key protein somewhere.
Yeah. So what they're doing now, looking for an HIV vaccine, is to figure out what the antibody is that exists in the DNA because of the DNA that
helped with the plague thing.
But they can't fucking figure it out.
They will. Give them
time. They will, but I'm just saying, they can't now. Not that they can't because it's impossible. It's just they can't right now.
I've heard of all kinds of things being worked on now to tackle stuff like specific cancers and HIV. And there's a lot of promising data coming up. It's just a matter of them going through the whole, testing methods to find out which ones are going to be better than the other ones, right?
A whole lot of math to be done, and then once the math is done, start the biology.
That's what I mean. The methods for testing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some sort of a specific wasp has a venom that seems to kill cancer cells en masse.
That's one of those. That's why people that don't pay attention to, well, we're losing like 100 species a day to extinction.
On average, yeah.
And people that don't care that we're intentionally.
You do realize though, Artie, that 80% of those species are like microbial, right?
Yeah. But a lot of them are at least the size of an insect.
Yes.
Or
lots of them are
larger. And until we understand what we're losing that nature has already provided, like maybe there's an ant saliva that prevents AIDS or STDs or regrows limbs or whatever. And if
sure.
So the more of that we lose, the more opportunity we lose of learning from those things that we're killing, just kind of at will.
You got to remember too that if that type of thing is showing up in one place, there's a good chance that the similar type of saliva, as you were saying, might also show up in another species.
Right.
So they'll eventually run into it. I mean, if it's happening in one place, the chances are it's happening somewhere else.
But then there's things like the white spot fungus on bees that.
Yes, the colony collapse thing.
Yeah, there's something to be said for the kinds of toxins that we're using in fields, but the bigger issue is where the fuck did this fungus come from, and how do we fight that? Because that's why
there's like 100 species.
Yeah, that's wiping out hives. Spraying a field will only kill the bees that have had contact, and will kill them relatively readily. They won't be spreading it through a hive. What's killing hives is a bigger deal. Not that we shouldn't address them both, but
there's a
thing is fucking crazy. It's killing bats.
Fungus, yeah, and there's also a parasite now that actually, you're welcome. It started here on Vancouver Island. That's also wiping out species here. It's a little worm parasite thing apparently that's getting in there. Now, so far, it hasn't really left much of the area here, so we're lucky. But the fungus is a big issue because it's also now hitting wasps as well.
Yeah.
And they're not as big a pollinator, but they still do. They still carry it. But there's multiple pollinators. But the bees are like 70% of them.
Yeah.
So we start losing them, we're going to have problems. I know they have robo bees now that can replace them, or at least they're hoping so, but they're not in use yet. They won't be for a while. Yeah. I mean, there's families in China that live in valleys where bees have completely disappeared, and they're running around by hand pollinating their fucking fruit. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's also quite ineffective. I mean, by the numbers, right? I mean,
of course.
What is the reduction in crop yield? Like 99%?
No, I don't think it was that high. I think it was around the 80, but it's big, and that's what matters.
Part of the reason saffron is so expensive is because they take the time to make sure that every flower gets pollinated.
Yeah.
But it's really not saffron is just the stamen from a crocus. It has almost no flavor. The fact that it costs
it's for the color basically.
Yeah. It's just a really labor-intensive thing to harvest because you're literally cutting this tiniest piece off of a plant.
Yeah.
And adding that to your bucket rather than the root system or the leaves or the flower itself. It's just the stamen.
Yeah. Can we get some smaller buckets, maybe?
A little Dixie cup will do it. I'm going to be out here a few hours, not till I die.
I've been here for 3 weeks, and I'm not even a quarter way up.
Yeah, and isn't it one or two species of? Isn't it one or two species of crocus that are the saffron source?
That's one of those differences that have come up because wild crocuses grow around here like crazy. That's one of those. I forget. It's the French. But the saffron doesn't come from France. It comes from one of their former colonies, and I don't remember which it comes from the most. But the French decided that they had slightly altered the wild version that grows wild here, and called that pure saffron. Except it has chemically there is absolutely no difference between any of them.
Oh, so the crocus corms that I get at Lowe's and put in the ground here, I could get saffron from those.
Yeah, you can harvest your own saffron from those.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know if it was a family-wide thing or
if you're not trying, if you don't care if you get more plants every year, because once they fertilize, they will that stimulates another bulb growth.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't care about them spreading, get your own fucking saffron.
Saffron's literally the rabbits of the plant world.
It's just the stamen. It's just the pretty little red thing in the middle.
Saffron everywhere all of a sudden. Wait. Now they're growing on my fucking roof. What's going on here?
I can remember there was a time in Indiana where it was illegal to grow certain versions of poppies, but it doesn't matter what version of poppy you grow. It doesn't fucking matter. If you're growing poppies, you can make your own fucking black tar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's all usable.
Yeah. It's all the same shit.
All right, guys. We got about 5 minutes here, so and then I gotta hit the highway, so to speak. Except it's not really a highway; it's just a regular road.
More of a
sidewalk. Yeah, I gotta go do a face plant on the sidewalk because I've had far too much scotch now. No, I haven't really been.
The last time I legitimately face planted, it was quite a bit of beer, and then mushrooms hit me all at once.
Oh shit! It was the most colorful face plant I've ever had.
No, I didn't even black out. I mean, everything went blue, but I didn't actually lose consciousness. I just lost everything else. And I can remember seeing my face bounce across these paver bricks. And luckily,
you reminded me of something we used to do on mushrooms.
It was at a concert, and luckily a nurse came up to me before a cop did. Let's just put it that way.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, nurse.
Yeah.
But we used to do mushrooms, and we used to go to the city hall in Richmond because they had these massive, super bright lights out front, and we would all stare at them for a few minutes, and then for about a half an hour afterwards, everything was purple. So we used to call it, let's go do Purple City, because we just wander around and everything was fucking purple. And we were on shrooms at the same time. So I was like, holy shit, or acid or something, right? So it was awesome.
Yeah, I'm a big, I used to be a big fan of driving at night on acid. Big fan of driving at night on acid.
Yeah, pay no attention to him, officers. He doesn't do it anymore.
Yeah, if you're listening, it's a horrible idea.
Yes.
We're not recommending this. We're just reliving some fun.
Yeah, it's the kind of a thing that's a skill on the level of whether or not you become a professional athlete at a thing. It was just something I could do. I could drive next to a cop for an hour and a half. Squeaked out of my fucking skull. I don't recommend that. I don't think most people do that, and I don't recommend that you try.
And I won because he was fucking
I beat
slow.
him to the light.
Yeah. Red light racing. Yeah.
Then he wrote me a ticket for crossing the line of the crosswalk.
Yeah, right. I saw you throw that cigarette butt out the window. Here's a littering ticket.
You're wearing sunglasses while you drive at night, so you don't see how bloated my pupils are. Oh,
yes, you know how fucked up I am. Oh man, I've had so much fun today, you guys. This is awesome.
Yeah, you had a good night.
Yeah, it was a good one. I got to cut it off because I got to head out, as you know. So
Diana, I got to go too. It's late, sweetheart.
Yeah,
it's got to be. You guys are 3 hours ahead of me. So.
Yeah, it's midnight o'clock.
Yeah.
Well, I've got 3 shows to do tomorrow, so I probably got to get to bed myself. I mean, first one's at what, 10:30 a.m. And then 10:30, and then 11:30, and then 8.
By the time I was in college, I wouldn't even take a class at that early in the day.
Well, if you're allowing people to jump in tomorrow, Dana, I'll send me a link and I'll jump in with you guys.
This is the NCG studios.
Oh.
Yeah, so come on by. And Dr. Jones has been asking people to join the conversation.